Hello and welcome to another episode of Lectures of Fallen Wisdom. Today I'm going to talk about the 30-million-year-old man. For 30 million years, man has walked the earth, and only a few thousand have they really walked around in civilization, in society, which warped our general lifespan. It overpopulated the world. It seemed like a good thing, a collective thing to get together, and we can only presume that there is some grand plan that will eventually turn out to be good. But in the meantime, we've given ourselves very short lives. The initial lifespan of a human was indefinite initially. There was no sunset, there was no old age, there was death by accident only, death by misadventure. Old age was something that came later with society, with the farming of empty foods, with the incomplete nutrition of life, the incomplete nutrition of mental life, the diminution of a kind of natural will to live in all of your molecules, a propaganda of mind that talks people into death, because we already have an overpopulation problem, and there needs to be death. There needs to be a lot of people dying. Otherwise, we'd really be in trouble. The only thing saving us at this moment is death. As a species on this planet, that's the only thing going for us, is the fact that our lives are so short, so we can only do so much damage. But that's how it's become. Now, I don't think it's some grand conspiracy, though I do think that unconsciously there is a kind of conspiracy going on, in the sense of they want you to die. They want you to assume that you're going to die. They want you to get old. The whole thing is to justify the need for the society, justify why you would have to have a society in the first place. Of course, it makes sense. If you're getting old, if you're getting frail, you know, what did old and frail humans do before societies? Well, I would submit that they didn't even exist. People just died of accidents. And they lived on for pretty long periods of time. So one of the principles that is important is the eating during the daytime. I was doing some intermittent fasting, but I was eating at night. And if you look at our history, 30 million years of life on this planet, we never ate in the dark. That would be kind of foolish, given predators, and it's not a safe time to eat. And our body has kind of been trained not to take in food at night. So when you do take food at night, it interrupts your whole natural rhythm. So you should only feed during the day, and only for a small amount of time, maybe 3 hours, and then stop till the next day. Give your body a chance to renew itself, to clean itself out. It's not something that should have constant food coming into it. It was never designed for that. People who are eating like 3-4 times a day, 5 times a day, it's not the way to go. If your body doesn't ever go into hunger mode, you never clean out the toxins. You never renew it, so you never get back to square one. So you're always adding onto a damaged body as you're taking more food in. There's also the importance of the mind. The mind is like a very important tool, but when left to just think on its own, we know what happens. What happens is it takes on all the mental viruses that are implanted in your mind, that are meant to be there to ensure that you do die. They're very depressing thoughts, and they're viruses. I mean, the way you can tell whether it's a virus or not, or whether it's the truth, is it depressing? A thought is depressing, then it's a virus. Depression is a virus. You should never be depressed. There's so much life out there, so much things to do, so much ways to enjoy. Even if you have problems, the fact that you can sit here and listen to this says something, right? Says something great. You're not running from any bullets right now, are you? I hope not. But you can just appreciate that. You are not suffering from the viruses that most people are. Most people are focusing, because of a virus, because of a thought virus, on what they don't have. That's all they can think about. But not what they don't think about the potential of what they do have. And that requires thought, to go back and forth with your mind. How about you just stop thinking? How about you just make yourself quiet in your mind? Now, I talked about the ratio of mind chatter to breathing. Breathing is the only mental blocker that you have. You can't do this kind of stuff mentally. You can't mentally stop your mind from thinking. You can't. You can only do it through breathing. Take a deep breath, and you'll see that your mind clears of all the chatter. And you see that the chatter actually stops your breathing. The chatter in your mind, the doubts, the fears, the apprehensions, the worries, the depressing thoughts, thoughts of death, the thoughts that you suck, the thoughts of self-criticism. They're all part of the virus that was planted and used so you would die. And hey, I don't blame anybody who made up this virus. It's probably done out of self-defense. And, you know, the planet probably put it into our heads to keep us from completely ravaging it. But you as an individual can bypass this thing. It's just a setting. By just turning off your thinking by breathing. So whenever you see your mind your breathing goes low and you see your mind goes very active, it starts thinking alike. It's like getting very desperate, having desperate thoughts. Anytime you're worried, it's because you don't have enough oxygen. All these negative emotions are oxygen deprivation kind of, that's what they are. They're just you not taking in oxygen. When something bad happens to you, you just like don't breathe. Knocks the wind out of you. So that's the key to getting your brain back on track. Now, in terms of like, what should you do in the fasting state? Some people are saying that you could drink coffee, drink some like bulletproof coffee with fat in it. I tend to just stay with the tea, maybe with a little stevia, but not any other thing, like no milk. Because anything that adds calories takes you off the fast. And the thing about fasting is that the reason why you have to get into a hunger state to burn fat is because while you're in the feeding state, your body is incapable of burning fat. So, like, Within 3 hours of eating, your body is in feeding state. After about 3, maybe 4 hours, finally your body goes into the burning fat state. Now, most people remain there for about an hour and then eat again. But if you can remain there for like 12 hours, 13, which requires kind of like an 18-hour fast, you will burn all the fat that you have stored from the day before and more easily. Another thing that happens when you fast is your testosterone level. As if you're a man, your testosterone level goes up. Your HGH goes up. There's stem cells in your body that come alive after about if you were to do like a 2-day or a 3-day fast, then you start to build these like stem cells that can start repairing deep repairs, killing cancers. I mean, repairing anything, like miracles happen in this state. Why is that? Because the body just like has a tremendous ability to eat the toxins like for food. Feature of the body. If you let it get to hungry enough, it will eat your viruses. It will eat your cancer. It will be I think the reason why chemo works so well sometimes cancer is because it makes people not eat. Because they get nauseous. And that lack of eating helps kill the cancer, eat the cancer. But it's a miracle cure. And now doctors are finally figuring it out that the fasting state is a state of like supreme power in your body, and your body's healing properties. Now also this sleep is incredibly important as well. If you do not get enough sleep, you store a ton more fat. And you eat a ton. You eat about 500 calories more just out of sheer exhaustion. You start to crave things that you shouldn't have. And it's mostly at night. And it's interesting. Like at night, we're fiends for food. At night, like you always overeat more at night. Europeans are kind of smart. They eat during the day. They eat a big meal and they go to sleep. And they don't really eat much for dinner. It's more natural, actually. But that's it. There's just some basic stuff. So I hope that helps. This is Lectures of Fallen Wisdom.